Good morning all, welcome to Abandoned Streets, Manchester. This is Deansgate, no sorry, Cross Street. Wait, yeah, it's a cross street. And usually at this time of day, 11:30 a.m, the streets will be bustling with tourists, shoppers, coffee drinkers, alcohol drinkers. But because it's almost midday and it's -1 degree Celsius, I think a lot of the corporations are saying to people, no, just work from home, it'll be fine, just work from home, you don't have to come to the office, it's a bit frosty, just work from home. So we're going to investigate. This is Britain's big freeze, a proper winter. Tonight it's going to get to -8, -8 just outside Manchester, -15 in the deep countryside, that's Celsius. And yeah, it's you know, from a kind of YouTuber point of view, it's nice sometimes when the weather hits the extremes, because then it gives us Brits something to really talk about, because everyone knows the British love talking about the weather. It's the major national conversational pastime, not because the weather is inherently very interesting, but the British are very polite, and you can't offend someone or make them feel humiliated if you talk about the weather. We passed the pink Grand Budapest Hotel, and it's nice to see that the nativity here of Chad Baby G is still here. So last night I got addicted to watching the horrific videos out of Germany, primarily Berlin, where youths, urban feral youths, they sounded and looked Turkish to me, but what do I know? They were setting off fireworks. I'd call them maybe more improvised explosive devices into vending machines, under cars, into people's houses. And they had 5 deaths from fireworks alone in Germany. So a day of celebration, New Year. The young ferals murdered 5 people. Well, 5 homicides anyway. It's amazing seeing Market Street here under the covered bit. So spacious, so empty. So much free real estate for me to walk over and enjoy. It wasn't always like this. You might remember videos from a month ago. The Christmas hellhole that is the most cursed city on earth. So welcome to Picadilly Gardens, Cracky Gardens. The big lorries are here to take the stuff away. The discoveries here where the man's tried to get the word Atlas or Attila the Hun. I just want to show you all the state of Piccadilly Gardens once the ridiculously overpriced and boring Christmas markets under Queen Victoria, the best monarch Britain has ever had. Apparently, during the reign of Victoria, there were 232 wars that the British were involved in. And they won 95% of them. That's good. 95% winning streak. Rule Britannia. Anyway, look at the state of the grass here. Look at this. Look at this. This nice diarrhea color. And it's frozen solid. Let's go test it without falling over. Absolutely frozen solid, like a frozen lake, and it's going to get to -8 tonight. So ugly. Welcome to the hovel. It's now a crackhead memorial. There's teddy bears, everything. Look at that. In death, no, there's still no dignity. Like, it's disgusting how this is tolerated in Manchester. Who's going to try their chances at these cash machines? Yeah, no wonder they're out of service, covered in the smegma of degeneracy. So we move from one hovel, one shutdown hovel, and of course... Sorry. Ah, it's okay, no, it's okay. Hi, Charlie. Hey man, you okay? We leave one hovel, and of course another hovel has been set up. And I hope they enjoy the cold tonight, I really do. It might make them rethink their lifestyle choices. Because it is a choice in a country where every charity is trying to house you, help you, feed you, clothe you. It's a choice. With the weather being the ultimate crackhead suppressant, even better than police brutality, that can only do so much, you know, against the crackies. But minus 10 degrees? Whew. So what happens in pre-civilization tribes, hunter-gatherer tribes, if a member of the tribe goes dark and decides they're not going to help out, they're not going to gather, they're not going to hunt, they're just going to consume and be nasty and fight? Well, the tribal elder, he'd probably say to the strong men, see that scumbag that doesn't help out? Could you guys send them to heaven whilst he's sleeping? And they're like, yeah, okay. There's no murder trials. If you don't act nicely, you're not part of the group. Sorry. And even more generally, what crackheads and deviants and junkies and so forth want is everything for nothing. In the state of nature, what happens to an animal if it refuses to hunt and it refuses to gather? It starves and it doesn't pass on its genes. What happens in lefty-controlled councils like Manchester? They're fed, they're housed, they're allowed to rut and breed, and then they pass the problem on to the next generation. Thank you for that inversion of Darwinian evolution, giving the resources to the very worst of us for them to have kids that they neglect anyway and have to get adopted anyway. It's dark, but it's true, and we have to start saying it how it is. Sometimes you don't even need to do a running commentary. I think I need a different angle. The Labour government would have you believe that that is a woman. Welcome to the Northern Quarter. This is Oldham Street, and the first good sign I've seen, and someone's already ruined it with a queer solidarity smash borders. But ignoring the graffiti on the graffiti, how based is that? No begging. Get your own money. No begging. So I was looking at crime statistics for African countries in, you know, North Africa, Central Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, and I was comparing it to inner cities in, say, Great Britain or America. And what I found was quite interesting. Within our African nation themselves, they don't have a very high murder rate, a very high robbery rate, very high assault rate, but for some reason American and British inner cities have extremely high murder, rape and robbery rates. Like, you know, like as if there's a bloody epidemic of crime and violence. Now, I just don't get it. Or you look at, say... Alright mate, sweet. Alright mate, sweet. You look at other third world countries, and again, the crime rates can sometimes be bad, but they're nothing like Mexico or what El Salvador used to be. Then I got thinking, what is it that's different about some countries rather than others? Well, some of them are monocultures. You know, Japan, very little crime. China, a bit more crime, but not very much crime. Scandinavian countries before mass immigration, very low crime. So I was trying to find a pattern. I really was. And my findings are probably right. That when you import people from, rewind. When you bring in a lot of people who have, say, perhaps a lower civilizational index in their brain, perhaps a lower ability to control their impulses, and, psychologists will say a lot of crime is an inability to control impulses. But then I get confused because I look at the native countries and their crime rates are not so very high. So what is it that is the issue? I'm going to try and give you guys an idea. When you force people, or not even force them, when you have people of a lower cognitive caliber and a lower impulse control caliber living alongside people who are, to their eyes, getting everything very easily, they've got magic jobs, they've got magic earnings, they live in magic houses, it will drive your ignorant or stupid person to rage and to violence. The human mind is very, very good at ascribing blame to others. It's not very evolutionary It's not very evolutionarily useful to blame yourself and think that you're scum and to think that you're a bad guy. No, it's much better to blame everyone else. And we see this in South Africa, perhaps the finest example of what I'm talking about. There's crimes and crime statistics coming out of South Africa that you're like, maybe maybe it should be nuked from orbit. Maybe it's beyond hope. And again, forcing people of vastly different calibers to coexist will create resentment, envy, and in the simple mind of the aggressor, they're not going to say, ooh, I need to work harder. Maybe if I work really hard, maybe my children can be doctors and architects and so forth. No, they just go mad and angry and see everyone around them as a demon stealing all the magic lands, all the magic opportunities and magic resources. So what's the answer, Charlie? What's the answer? Well, immigration policies need to be exclusively bringing in people of the same civilizational index and the same impulse control caliber as the native population. So, if you are Britain, you can have Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese. You can have a lot of immigrants that come from civilizations that have been self-domesticating for thousands of years. What you cannot do is open the borders and let anyone come in, because you are letting in undomesticated, wild people. And we're seeing the effects in Great Britain now of what's happening. It's become mainstream to talk about these things. And so good morning. And so everyone else who's been slowly chipping away at the political correctness, censorship, glass cage that we've all been suffering under, I salute you. Keep going. No rest for the lefties. No rest for the social engineers. No rest for those who are traitors to civilization and to the West. Northerners against Nazis. Punchy punch. I guess if you don't like the mass and organized systemic rape of little white girls, you're a Nazi. Here's one with a little frog. Gay and trans people share our jail cells and our beds. No war but the class war. Anyway, let's go look at the river. It's all coping mechanisms of the mediocre, the ugly, and the ideologically stunted. Cope with your reality. At the very least, they're not happy people. They're not sat there ecstatic and joyous, thinking that they're going to win a revolution. No, they're nervous, scared, hateful, and ignorant, which is a dangerous combination for any human, because, as Big Daddy, the good Dr. Jordan Peterson taught us, you might be scared of strong men, but it's the weak men you have to be careful of. Weak men will commit atrocities. Stay away from weak men. So when I first moved to Manchester 13 years ago, I noticed this mural here in memory of the Peterloo massacre in the 1800s, and they've chosen an African mother and her African child to celebrate native Mancunians in the 1800s getting shot by government troops. Okay, anyway, this is the former Mark Addy pub. It's now a crack den, nastiest crack den. Who knows what horrors go on in there, but there might be a way for us to get a bit closer to investigate without getting stabbed by AIDS-infested hypodermic needles. Well, we'll try. With the recent floods, you can see there's the side of the Mark Addy. You can see how the sandbanks have arrived here. That's meant to be pavement. Yeah, it's a beach now. And we look across at these millennium built, so about 20 years ago, yeah, kind of build fast, build cheap, build ugly apartments. And a regular feature of my walks around Manchester was this nice bridge. It makes your shoes do nice sounds when you... Oh no, not with these shoes. But no pedestrian access. Again, health and safety, because they're doing some scaffolding on the buildings. Everything needs to be shut down, as is the British way now. mediocre, weak, degenerate, and obsessed with health and safety at the cost of life, freedom, and enjoyment. Here's an old advert, old timetable for the Manchester water taxis, which would probably be from down here, the boarding point. But we're on the search for junkie hovels. That's what we're looking for here. Oh my God! Look at this! Look how high up from the river we are. Good couple of meters, and there's a sandbank here as well. A nice muddy sandbank. Give him a crucifix, Charlie. That'll do. Wow! Look at all the detritus caught in the chains here. Look at that. The river flooding has made a demented, skinny snowman. Scarecrow, I mean. Crackhead sleeping bag, of course. And, oh shit. Usually things like this are best done with a friend. With another big guy, a bodyguard, or someone that can watch your back. Because the last thing we want is to bump into some dirty crackheads when we're alone, because they carry knives, needles, and they've got nothing to lose. Another crackhead sleeping bag. I think it's worth it, guys. I think we better have a look. Have they been flooded out? Hopefully flooded out. Okay, no crackheads in there, that's for sure. So far, so crackhead free. Don't want to get cornered here, though. What can I use as a weapon if I get cornered? That shopping trolley, that's my weapon. Damn. And then, you see there's a way for them to go into the real Marcaddy bit. They've pushed that glass panel in, and they stand on top of this fence and climb in, and then they can go and take their crack and live their best lives at the expense of the rest of society. And that's it. Why is crackheadery so tolerated and almost encouraged in the West? It's a mixture of corrupted Christian values and the maliciousness of communists who see these people as useful foot soldiers to dislodge the straight white middle-aged capitalists from the seats of power. Someone needs to tell them that Donald Trump won, and his friend Elon is doing a very good job in exposing the Labour government. How is it that we got a South African, Africa's greatest businessman, Elon, is literally the best weapon we have against the forces of demented leftism in Great Britain? That is just strange. Strange, I tell you. Anyway, we survived that scene. Communists hate the working classes. They hate ordinary, salt-of-the-earth, everyday people. The non-intellectuals, the non-white-collared, the non-professionals. They hate them. Because they tend to be a bit naturally right-wing. They tend to be a bit, sometimes, non-propagandizable. They're not easy to brainwash because their brains are simple. And that's probably a good thing. And lefties and communists hate them. And we saw the viciousness against the men, mostly men, a few women, angry at the mass murder of little girls in Southport by the Islamist Axel. And we saw how Labour and Keir Starmer, when he was a prosecutor, didn't so much like the idea of affecting the ideology of multiculturalism by convicting British Pakistani men for raping English girls. No, they were just working class English girls. Nah, just blame the girls. Blame the girls, lefty. Blame the girls. Here's a look down the side of New Bailey. And for those of you in the know, this is the government building, HM government, that I often do things outside and they get all panicky and locking the door, not allowed. If you look through the hole, you can see the car ramming of peace barriers down there. We come back, and these are removable with a lock. Car ramming of peace barriers. And yeah, this is the world we need to live in, because we've decided that medieval people with funny ideas are wonderful for multiculturalism. We have two fluorescent tennis balls, a jogger. It looks a bit cold. And again, we've got all this. Just want to see if they're going to take the bait. Are they going to take the bait? They're going to take the bait. Wait. She's got to touch her button. Touch her button. Well, maybe I'm affecting the results here, because if you point a camera at someone, they often wonder why. But no. Oh, this is how their bosses make sure that they walk around. It forces them to touch a little infrared chip on these little things. For example, you can see here, the bosses can tell if they've walked around or not, because have you touched your key card on that? So much security, yet so much terrorism. I don't think it's racist to notice that you sometimes feel safer in a large crowd of Oriental people or a large crowd of white people. I don't think that's racist. You're just noticing that Koreans, Chinese, Japanese are quite safe, and that most European town squares, if it's just a bunch of like whitey, it's quite safe as well. Well, my parking ran out, so I've come for a drive. I'm just off the A580 East Lancs in Salford, and I saw a particularly grim scene ahead of me, and I wanted to share it with my viewers. So I guess enjoy, is that the right word? Enjoy? That's what most of England looks like. We're a bit further down on St. John's Road, and that little snowman made me emotional. Made me very emotional. God damn it. Okay, welcome to deepest, darkest Salford. We're just behind the Aldi. Or is it a Lidl? I think it's an Aldi at Earlham on the Heights. So KH has been exposed as a grass. Kieran Hall, or Katie Howard. Katie Howard, we salute you. You've probably done the right thing, even though they've put you on the other side as well. Katie Howard, you grass. Maybe you got sick of the degenerate crackhead life. You got sick of all your benefit thieving scum. People pretending that they're disabled when they're not. Stealing money. Maybe you've had enough of them, and you've decided to come into the good side and grass up the scum. I'm not saying snitching is good, but neither is being a crackhead. Terry's chocolate orange, full pack. That's a waste, that is. Anyway, no rest for the wicked, back into the city. More big new apartments put up, and again these concrete pillars look unfinished. Looks like some underground sewage drainage area. Again, it's all build fast, sell them cheap. Build cheap, build fast, sell it to your rich Chinese investor, sell it to your rich Arab investor, buy to let property. Not even the Labour government's managed to dull the international appetite for British property. Turns out the international audience are the only people that can afford any British property. Okay, all, welcome to Spinning Fields, kind of Manchester's version of Canary Wharf. Here's the Eagles of the Crown Court. All the big courts are in there. I think this is a 1960s built building. You can already see the rot into modernism peeking through here, and then everything here. This is all Globo Homo glass and metal boxes, Meccano set architecture. Now, in fact, we'll go up this way. Today's a hard day to do content. It's 0 degrees Celsius at almost 3 p.m. and it's a wet cold. The air is misty with water particles, and it feels like my skin is being raped by a million tiny cold penises in every pore, and it's very unpleasant. Okay, I was a bit premature. It's 2:40, not 3, and we'll bring the camera back on ourselves, which isn't so easy when you're wearing thick gloves. There you go. And oh god, what have I done with the brightness? No! There you go. There you go. There's your brightness. So much to say about the court transcripts revealed from the Crown Courts across the UK of the mass rape gangs of the last decade. And don't read that stuff before you go to bed. Don't read it if you're feeling a bit vulnerable or in a sensitive dispositional mood. Only read it if you're feeling strong, because the things these gangs of men did to... Yeah, I'm not even gonna... It's a horror movie. It's like Nosferatu, but without the Hollywood glamour. It's pure hell. Okay, we're coming up to the town hall. Again, the car ramming of peace bollards are on point. You know, the world's gone mad. Again. Sorry, it's always been mad, but it's gone particularly pathologically mad in the last few weeks again, last few months. And I hate to say this. I hate to say this because people shout at me, but only the Israelis as a nation truly understand the Islamist menace as we speak. Maybe the Americans as well with the incoming Trump presidency, but it seems only the Israelis are sober and fully rational to the danger we're all facing. Let's all laugh at this blast from the past. Yeah, how much do I have to pay? Here's £10. Good man. Anyway, stop Tommy Robinson. Have they stopped him?
You free for Tony Morrison, you know what I'm saying? That's what's happening. Tony Morrison is free.
Is he a good man, Tommy? He's a good man. Thank you. God bless you, man.
God bless him. He's free. Fuck the system. We live a life. You told I'm short. Why?
Just God did it. Thanks, mate.
Yes, sir. You, everything. Say no.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Say no, straight away. You gotta say yes.
Yes. Where are you from anyway? Where are you from?
Listen, you say yes.
Yes.
Why is it?
Thanks, man. Cheers. Where are you from? Look at the camera. Where are you from?
I'm from downtown California, 611th Street. What's happening?
God bless, dude. See you later. Okay, welcome to the all-seeing eye of the Arndale. And they're allowing crackheads now in the actual Arndale, in the shopping mall. Crackheads in the mall, crackheads in the mall, crackheads in the mall, crackheads in the mall, crackheads in the mall. Come on, trying to stop the video when you're wearing gloves. Two males over a chocolate chip cookie. Look at that. Who's going to win? I reckon my money's on... oh God, what distinguishing features do they have? They're going to end up under me. Yeah, that's who I thought would win. Now go get your cookie now and relax. Go on, Victor. You are the victor. His name's Victor and he is the victor. Look at that, he gets to eat his cookie now unmolested.